Kim, do you have an injury update on Autumn?
She's practicing yesterday. Looks great. Good to go.
And what about uh, Asia?
Asia has a stress reaction. So she's second or beginning of third week and being like off of it and in a boot. You do that, you start having pain, excuse me, pain. And then when they check it, you're checking first probably for a stress fracture, but it's not at that stage. So what you do is you just play it very conservative and keep her off of it. I don't know if it's 4 weeks. I know when I had it, it was 4 weeks, but I haven't asked. I think this is like the end of her second week.
And going back to Autumn, is she available Sunday?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. She's good to go and looked good yesterday.
And could you give us a scouting report on Florida? It looked pretty impressive victory the other night,
Well,
last night.
Florida is a very good basketball team. And I'm so impressed with their quickness, their speed, their transition game. They have a lot of players that they play. And they have a young lady that's a freshman that's killing it from the three right now. And it's going to be a very difficult game. They're confident right now. They stay in the paint. They dribble, penetrate really, really well. And they're beating people. They're beating people. It's going to be tough for us.
Coach, about to enter the middle third of the SEC schedule. Do you adjust the way you coach or focus? Usually this will be the hardest part because there's no end in sight and you're too far past the beginning.
Well, you just coming off a bye. So as I told you after we played the other night, I wish we could keep playing. Sometimes you want those byes and sometimes you don't. I wish we could have kept playing, but nonetheless, you just keep trying to make them understand we haven't arrived yet. There are no guarantees that we're even going to be in the NCAA tournament. There's a lot of basketball left to be played. We still have to go on the road and try to compete with the Floridas and the Arkansas and the Tennessees and the Ole Miss. There's a lot left. And just stay focused. Today, let's stay focused on Florida and realize they're good. And then we've got to play them again, right after you go in, 2 or 3 weeks. Don't they come here? Can't remember the date. I can't look past the next game, but too much basketball left to be played.
Yeah, Coach, just in this extra preparation, has it been more about Florida or has it been evaluating your team or just how's your hand?
It's been both. It's been both. You had an extra time. You can't overdo it. Okay, so we gave them 2 days off actually, but one day they came up on their own just to get some shots up. And then you little by little on the floor are getting better in areas you need to get better in. And yet at the same time, you're in that film room showing them Florida stuff. That never stops. When you're in season, it doesn't matter if you have a bye or not. You're working on yourself and you're working on your next opponent.
Yeah, I guess to that end, how much improvement have you seen in the girls that's maybe let you unlock, their next level or their next move or whatever? Like, are you seeing things that, okay, now you're here, I'm comfortable with what you can do here, let's try this?
You do. And where it starts on the defensive end. I know we can shoot it with the best of them in the league. It starts on the defensive end. Can we do some things to mix our defenses up? I know most people will tell you if you're going to play a Mulkey team, you better be ready for a man-to-man, tough, hard, physical defense, and you better rebound with them. I will never change that. But as you play different schools, you got to look at their strengths and weaknesses, and you got to say, okay, we're on the road. In this moment, I might need to throw that 2-3 zone at them. In this moment, I might need to throw that full court press at them that we haven't had to use to this point. Just tweaking stuff so that if I've only done it one time, all 5 players on that floor know what we're doing. The injuries, you have to adjust and adapt to, but you can't dwell on it. Next man up. And that's how we approached it. When you got Asia out and Autumn out, you become a little shorter in the depth-wise in the post. So what do? I take Sarah. She hits a big shot the other night at the 4 on the pick and pop. You use kids in a way where they've got to buy in the moment, and it's all about the team. It's all about helping us.
Kim, you mentioned before how much you like the mid-range jumper. I was talking to Kayla and to Jalen about it, and they said that's part of their game that's improved so much. Are you an outlier there teaching that? And I know it's from your background, but is that something that's being ignored, and you one of the few that doesn't?
Well, you have to do what your kids are capable of doing. I can't make a mid-range jump shooter this proficient three-point threat and never use what they do well. It's evaluating kids' strengths. I think people get so caught up into the three ball because of the pros. How many guys in pro ball, if I told you to give me 5 guys in pro ball right now that shoot mid-range jumpers and it's automatic, could you name 5? No. It's all about the three ball now. And in our game, it's the three ball, it's layups, and it's free throws. Okay? Well, what if you don't have that on your team? What if you're not ever able to recruit that? You have to take what you have, and you got to put them in a position offensively to score the ball. And so I judge coaches and their ability to coach based on what are they getting out of their kids that those kids are capable of doing. You don't go throw in an offense and say, this is what we're going to do now because that's the offense I know, and I'm just going to make them be a three-ball shooting team. But yet you got 2 post players in there that are all Americans, and they can't go out there and shoot the three, so you got to adjust. You have to adapt. I have been blessed to honestly have some tremendous mid-range jump shooters in the women's game. And you know what? There's not many girls that can just shoot a mid-range jump shot. And I've been blessed to have an abundance of it in my career. I don't go looking for it in high school, but I can tell if you're a ball player or not. And if you can score the ball, it's our job to figure out where to get you those shots. Now, what Cherry and KP and Lex can do, they can shoot the three ball. So if you look at their range now and you look at their percentage shooting the ball, those kids, if you leave them open, they're going to shoot the three ball now. And that includes Ryan. But you're going to have to stop the mid-range first.
Is that what's top 10 in the country in scoring? Is it because you're so multiple? Do you feel like that's why you've been so successful scoring it?
I just think we try to play to the kids' strengths. We just really do. Use Foss as an example. That kid is shooting, 65% from the field. So if you named the top 2 or 3 post players in the country, would you name Foss? Probably not. But if I ask you, well, shouldn't those top ones be leading the country in field goal percentage? If they're that good, shouldn't they be? That's a big thing for her. That means she's taking shots she's capable of taking. She's mixing it up, facing the basket, and now she's doing what? She's getting you offensive boards, she's battling, and she's getting putbacks. Those are the types of things that do what you're capable of doing. I'm never going to ask a kid to do something they're not capable of doing. It's my job to figure out what that is.
Kim, you said you're going to use the break to do some recruiting. Has the reception or interest level changed in the time that you've been there at LSU from maybe curiosity and some excitement to maybe more excitement now that people have seen how the season has gone?
Well, I can only judge recruiting based on the years I recruited for Baylor. And it's very similar, Scott, in that when we started at Baylor, we couldn't get in the doors of a lot of great players because we were not a proven commodity. And then as we started winning and you won, then those doors opened up a little bit wider and you could get in there. I think with us winning, there is no doubt some of the players I was recruiting at Baylor are now considering LSU and considering LSU seriously. They were considering us because of our move. They had a relationship with us. But you still have to sell the product on the floor. You still have to convince them, Coach, are you recruiting good players that I don't want to come in there and be the only good player. And I think when they come, they see the crowd, they see the atmosphere, they see the renovation of the offices and the training room that's taking place. They can kind of see the same things that we did 21 years ago when we got to Baylor. And that excites me.
Coach, coming off of the bye week, I have to ask, have y'all worked on the 3-2 zone?
No. But that doesn't mean we won't run it. We have worked on zones that we're comfortable with. I'm not a great teacher of zone defense. I mean, that's just, I didn't play for anybody that was a great teacher of zone defense. That doesn't mean that I couldn't just put together something like I have in the past, but I did teach and do teach a 2-3 zone. I do teach a full court zone press, a 3/4, half court zone stuff. But I'm not going to go spend hours teaching something that I'm not good at, or teaching something that we're going to run a lot of. If we do a 3-2 or a 2-3, it would be just to disrupt them a little bit. I'm going to continue to trust those kids that they have in their mind a little bit of a remembrance of what they used to do when they did a lot of matchup zone. But it's been more about continuing to do what they've been taught since I've been here.
And I have to ask, I asked you about Kayla Pointer a few weeks ago. Y'all's relationship has seemed to really progress, and you can tell that you truly trust her. Was there a moment in your mind of when you kind of realized?
You know, I didn't know Kayla before I didn't know any of them. I can't tell you that I recruited any of them to develop a relationship. When I got here, my respect for them came from the fact that they stayed here. And it especially, guys, it especially was so impressive to me. That was her aunt. Nikki Fargas is her aunt. And she stayed. That told me a lot about that kid. And then the way she acted in practices, and the way she responded in timeouts, and the way, listen, I got on her. I got on her hard, probably harder than anybody. And she always responded. And so trust is not something that is given. In any relationship, you guys know that. It's something that is earned over time. She had to learn to trust me, and I had to learn to trust her. It had nothing to do with, I like you, you like her, I'm this, you're that. It's something that develops. And that's not just with Kayla, but with all of them. But I have to show them the way it will be done, and it won't be this way that you're used to. And they had to buy into it, and they did. And it wasn't all hugs and kisses and, telling them how wonderful they were. It was challenging moments, and moments that I'm sure they've probably never seen before. But they always responded. And I can't tell you how happy I am for those seniors. I want them to have the most memorable year that they've had in their career at LSU. And it's not over. We could lose both games these next two on the road. It's that hard. But we're going to keep doing what we did after we lost the two previous games. You just go right back to work.
Got time for a couple more questions.
Coach, similarly, when you met Cherry, and for example, the softball games, when she come up to you and just hang on every word you said, and like she said, a sponge, I just wanted to hear everything she had to say. What's it been like to see a player like that who's had mental breakdowns here and there along the way?
Well, I saw your interview with her. Wow. What makes me proud is I can't judge her on her previous years here. All I hear is, Coach, you have reached this young lady in ways that nobody else could. While that sounds flattering to me and it makes me feel proud, I have to go back to her. Cherry has to be the one to buy in, to take care of what she has to take care of, to change that perception in order to become all she's capable of becoming. I tell them this, Jock, is we all want somebody in our life to push us to become what we're capable of becoming. You do, I do, everybody does. And if I pushed her to become what she's capable of becoming and I would not tolerate what she used to do, then I'll take that pat on the back. But I can't take it without telling you it doesn't happen without Cherry doing it.
How does she fill up a box score? It seems like on one night she might have 8 assists, on one night she might have 8 rebounds, she may, score 20. I mean, does she do a little bit of everything for you out there?
She's very similar to Kayla Pointer. It's almost like, you got Morris, you got Cherry, you got Ryan. Those are 4 guards that, who are you really going to focus on? Because they will all light you up. They will all rebound the ball for small guards. They will all defend you with speed and quickness. It is a blessing to have that much speed, that much talent on one team together. And they complement each other well. Cherry, just a pure jump shooter, but she's not afraid to shoot the 3. She's just having a great year. I mean, they all are. And sometimes when you're a senior, it's a sense of urgency. Your time is dwindling down. And their time in an LSU uniform is dwindling down. And their chance to go to the NCAA playoffs is oh so close. And they understand it. And it's just, you don't have to pull teeth when you go out there to practice. And I told them this. It doesn't get written about enough. Their basketball knowledge, even though they've made some mistakes, I go back to those 2 mistakes at the end of the Missouri game, shooting the ball too early on the shot clock and turning it over with less than 30 seconds to go. Their knowledge of the game is off the charts. How do you say that, Coach? You've coached some great ones. I have. I've coached some of the greatest in this game, but their basketball knowledge was not what it is. They just did what you told them to do. These kids improvise through the course of a game, and they make me look great. I will get them in a timeout, and they'll say, what do you want us to run right here? And I'll say, you tell me. You're out there on the floor. You tell me what you think we should run. You see that floor better than I do right there. That's a sense of ownership as well. And I think that's another word they've done. They've taken ownership of this team and this program. And wow, it has made my job a lot easier than you can imagine.
Finished up with Scott.
Kim, it's only your 3rd SEC road game. One of them going to Auburn. They're struggling. When you went to Georgia, they probably didn't know what you guys were. But now you're going to go to Florida, and they're going to be like, we have a chance to beat a top 10 team, is what they're saying. How do you think your players will adjust to that expectation, as you said before, going from being the hunter to the hunted?
We talk about it, but, Scott, I don't think it'll make us play any different. It may make Florida play different. We're going to play the way we play. Because we're ranked, we're not all of a sudden going to go, we still got this much more that we can turn it up. We've turned it up. From the time we've stepped on that floor to now, you're getting everything we have. And if everything we have gets us beat, then you shake the opponent's hand and you say, you played better than we did tonight. I never go on that floor and think that our team is not going to be prepared. I never go on that floor and think that we're going to be out-hustled or that we're not going to play hard. I know we will, but I also know there will be talented moments where talented players take over, or a team that maybe even less talented than you just plays better that night. And so that's how I approach it. We just don't spend a lot of time talking about being the hunted now, because we haven't arrived. We are starting this, and wow, what a way it has been to start. It's been fun, it's been exciting, but too much basketball left to be played against good teams. Are we the 10th best team in the country? I don't know that, but I know what it is. It's a sign of respect that they've watched us go from not being ranked to being ranked. They've watched our net go up. That's all you can do is hope that people recognize it. But I don't know in today's game who the number 5 team is. I don't know who the number 1 team is. I think it's South Carolina because I get to see them in the SEC more often. But I just know that you want to be relevant and you want to be respected. And I do think that we are being relevant and we are being respected.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys.